Hey guys, Stealth here and welcome back to Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. In this scenario, which was submitted by one of my naval architects, we are going to be taking on the Japanese as the Russians. Now, what's a naval architect, you might wonder? It's a Patreon tier that is going to help you get your scenario featured. There are only 40 slots for that particular tier on my Patreon page, and there are 8 slots for videos for those things a month. So your chances to get your scenario featured are really good. More on that, link down below in the description. Today's scenario, Undo the Humiliation, was sent in by Commando Raptor. After being humiliated by the Japanese Navy for far too long, you have been tasked by the Tsar to design a battleship, of which 2 will be made, for the Russian Navy that is more modernized and lead your fleet to deal a heavy blow to the Japanese Navy, reversing the humiliation. If you win, Tsar Nicholas will gain more support and loyalty from his people, leading to future uprisings, being softer and much less widespread, and will also help leap the Russian military into further industrialization and better technologies for future conflicts. If you lose, well, there will be a possible follow-up, but you will be at a bit of a, if not a massive, disadvantage. So I'd better do well against the Japanese. Speaking of the Japanese, I might as well set them as the enemy. Now, the game is set in 1905. Starting range is 20,000 meters. I'm supposed to have 2 battleships, 2 battlecruisers, 1 heavy cruiser, 3 lights, 3 DDs, 2 PT boats, aka torpedo boats. There is a bit of a problem with this, though. I cannot build battlecruisers, as the Russian Empire does not have a hull for a battlecruiser in 1905, nor 1906. But they do in 1907. So I'm going to move the scenario forward a little bit. And I'll give the Japanese a bit of an advantage that way as well. But I'll take off one of their torpedo boats. Because after 1906 or 1907, generally, you have no hull available. If you want to send in your scenario, and again, by no means is the Patreon tier the only way that you can send them in. You can still send them in through the link down below in the description. But they will land on the pile of almost 800 scenarios that I have at this tier. If you do send in a scenario and you want me to use not transports, but torpedo boats, keep in mind I can only have those when I have 1907-ish or earlier. I've seen scenarios which ask me to use torpedo boats in 1940, just not possible in the current version of the game, which is Alpha 7.6. Now, there is a scoring system in place. The point system goes as such. Battleships are worth 15 points, battlecruisers 10 points, heavy cruisers 6 points, light cruisers 5, destroyers and PT boats 1. In order to win, you must achieve 65 points or greater while maintaining both battleships and at least 1 battlecruiser and 1 light cruiser. So both of my battleships have to survive, a battlecruiser has to survive, and a light cruiser has to survive. The battleship should have a maximum displacement possible with a maximum of 8 main gun barrels, which have no caliber limit. Secondaries are limited to 6-inch or smaller. Torpedoes are allowed, but only a maximum of 3 tubes per side, if that many is even possible with this tech level. So let's get to designing a Russian battleship. As always with these ships, the first thing that I usually slide up is the amount of bulkheads. And we are working with a Dreadnought 1. That's the most, modern hull. No, that's actually the only hull that I have available. It has a maximum displacement of 29,000 tons. Now, it is refreshing to have a scenario that's a bit older because we won't have all the modern tech. For example, the Krupp armor only goes up to Krupp armor 2. And I imagine some other tech, like triple bottom hull, has not been invented yet. Now we're going to Japan, so I'm going to set the range slider to very long. And engine-wise, well, turbines it is. Let's make it coal, forced boilers, and potentially auxiliary engine 1. Because this ship will get hit, and this ship might flood. And that's when the water pumping boost comes in very handy. Same can be said for the propeller shaft, because it's going to give me a bit more turning rate. Might be handy. But is it worth it? It only adds, about 60 tons? Yeah, that's fine. Then we're going to go for a heavy barbette thickness. I have seen ships from this era get Space Force turrets, aka flash fires, a few too many times. And I am not interested in seeing that on these battleships, especially considering that they have to survive. Now, this battleship, I'm going to turn it into a bit of a brawler, so it doesn't have to have too much long-range accuracy. And if I can save 290 tons by taking a less advanced tower, then I will happily do so. Secondary tower, aka a rear tower. This is also going to save me 160 tons. And the bonuses that you get are marginal. So let's go with a, maybe even a 3. That's another 140 tons. Although it does give you about 3.5 points of torpedo spotting. Yeah, let's go with this one instead. Funnels. Well, the ship's not particularly quick. Let's set it to 26 knots. And is one funnel enough? Maybe, but not that type. 89. There we go. 100 engine efficiency. Excellent. So now I have about 3.5 tons left to make do with the guns. The ship's heavily protected, which is nice. But, well, she's gonna need guns. Fortunately, they're not terribly heavy. The biggest I can get is 13 inch. Is that something that I would want? Whoops. Sorry, keep that in place. Let's go for enhanced loaders. I don't mind the hydraulic turrets. Because once I'm aiming at a particular target, I'll probably not go for another target anytime soon. There is the option to go with side-mounted guns. Not on the bow, though. Fits like a glove, but will it turn? Probably not. No, I'm not going to go with side-mounted turrets. Let's go with 13-inch guns. They reload in almost 50 seconds. And with Lyddite 2, they'll be able to deliver a hell of a blow. Maybe put one on a barbette, though. Standard superimposed barbette. Geez, that looks really big. Can we not just fit those on a medium? Yeah, see, a medium's big enough. Sweet Jesus. This ship's heavy. Really heavy. That saves me a bunch of weight. 1,000 tons. Gonna make the ship a bit slower. These things weigh 1,100, let's say 1,200 tons each. This is a big ship. Maybe if I go with a barbette... Get out of the way. If I go with a barbette here... What? What? Wow. One barbette allowed? Okay. I didn't know there were restrictions for barbettes. That's interesting. In that case, we're going to go with a different design. And I'll probably not use the barbettes at all. What I will use are secondary gun barbettes. And these do not have a limitation on them. Yeah, right. Like that's ever gonna fit. How is this possible? I mean... No. It's just never going to fit. You're trying to have me put a barbette on a casemate? I don't see that happening. But I can use casemate guns. Now, secondaries are limited to 6-inch or smaller. There goes that plan. But we can at least add a couple of casemate guns. Hopefully, casemate guns will keep the destroyers away. 1.6, 1.3, 0.5, 0.3. About 500 tons left. Heavy shells. 7,151 damage if it hits. No, I'm just going to go with standard shells and instead invest a bit more in the belt armor. I know that I start at 20,000 meters, but the thing is, I'll never be able to hit stuff at 20,000 meters, not with this tech era. So I'd better invest in a bit of belt armor and try to close the distance. That means a bit less deck armor. Seriously hoping that I don't get hit. Oh, that's too much. 12.7 is the best I can go. Alright then. Well, I guess this is it. This is the Narva class battleship. 24 knots, very long range. In case you're wondering if I slide that all the way down, I do get a... Oof. I know the Japanese Navy might be waiting at Japan, but 1,700 tons is very attractive to put more armor on this ship. And guns and such. Okay, range very short. We're just gonna forego that part. Let's see, is there enough room to put a barbette and a secondary barbette? I think this part might be better. Right. What the hell? Look at the size of this barbette. You could plunk a 13-inch gun down on that. That is not a tall barbette for a secondary. That's a tall barbette for a main gun. How are you supposed to make these work? And they're attached to the standard barbette. Ah, there we go. Sort of. Alright, can I move you? And then place the barbette down? Oh. Look at the size of that monster! No, that's a bit big. Because I still want some secondary guns in the form of 6-inch... Only duals? Oh, really? Triples hadn't been invented yet. Interesting. Couple there and a couple here. That does limit the firepower of this gun a bit. Hopefully not too much. Now we have a bit of an aft weight offset. Fortunately I can still move the forward turret a bit more forward. 0.1. There we go. And I get another 400 tons to armor the ship even more. And that's going to go into the conning tower, which generally doesn't add that much. Turrets. 14-inch on the turrets. Now, for reference, let's say I was fighting at about a range of 10,000 meters. Standard penetration would give you 15.2 inches of pen if you hit a turret. I have an 84% armor quality boost, so we're looking at 14-inch plus about 10. So we have plenty of that. Add more to the belt extended to the tune of 7.2 inch. Okay. Enough talk. Let's get to fighting. Not that I won't talk during the fighting, of course, but, well, I hope you know what I mean. Right, so keep keep 2 battleships alive. Keep 1 battlecruiser and 1 light cruiser alive. The more ships survive, the better the chances will be for the future scenario. Now we have battlecruisers Kursk and Izhevsk. Please don't tell me. Oh no, a few bulkheads. Yep. 13-inch guns. Propellant, white powder. Why is there a random 10-inch gun on your ship? Okay. 7-inch, 6-inch, 2-inch. Very nice. Heavy cruiser, the Severnaya Zvezda. 8-inch guns. Just 4 of them. A whole load of 5-inch guns. This thing is going to be the bane of destroyers. 3-inch guns and 2-inch guns. We have 3 light cruisers. Pamiat, Merkuria, Lieutenant Dadimov, and Izumrud. 4-inch guns only. That seems pretty light for a light cruiser. But okay, we'll just have to run with it. A few bulkheads, of course, you gotta stick to that trend. Many bulkheads on the heavy cruiser. Then we have Lieutenant Ilyin, Buinyi, and Jizio. What's that? Jigit? The destroyers have 5-inch guns and a few torpedoes. What is that? 4? 4 to a range of 6.1 kilometers. 950 ton displacement, few bulkheads, joy, and 32.5 knots. At least they're quick. Alright, enemy smoke has been spotted to the north. So that is where we shall go, and we shall inflict great shame upon the Japanese. The battle cruisers, you guys can already turn to the north. That means I don't want you to turn to the port side, I want you to turn to the starboard. Light cruisers are immediately in massive disarray. And that probably goes for the destroyers as well. I want the heavy cruiser to follow the battleships rather, to make sure that I can call that in at any given moment and have her screen the battleships from any kind of destroyer pests. Let alone torpedo boats, because I haven't covered those yet. It looks like somebody had a stroke while typing and came up with this name. Poraz Hayushinshi. I completely fucked that up, but let's just say Russian's a complex language to those who are not native to them. And see, this is something I can work with. Borgo. That seems fairly doable. Sorry, Russia. Okay. Light cruisers, if you could sort yourselves out and start making way towards the enemy, then we can tell the Empire of Japan what's what. The Empire of Japan seems to have pretty nice hulls. Gotta hand it to him. I do see a distinct lack of secondaries. Well, there might be one in here in the tower. This is pretty much a battleship killer. That seems to be its only purpose. Now we're gonna fling some HE at them, because at this range and at that angle, I don't really expect much from anything else. The battle cruisers. I want you guys to turn hard to starboard. I'm gonna try and have the battleships come in from here and the battle cruisers come in from there. Torpedo boats straight towards the target. The light cruisers are still mucking about. And the DDs hopefully will be able to charge. I'm going to set these guys in line abreast formation and slow them down some, making sure that the Gizit and the Bwinyi can move up. And the Severnaya Zvezda following the Rojestvo Kristovo. Now, I don't particularly like the name Kursk, because it does have some negative connotation with it. After the Russians lost a submarine of that name. Hopefully they won't go the same way. What do we have here? No. That's a heavy cruiser. Would you like funnels with that, sir? Yes, all of them. 6 funnels. I don't know why you would want 6 funnels on a ship, but the AI works in mysterious and sometimes fairly random ways. Oh, it's a light cruiser. I'm sorry. And there's another one over there. What are you then? You're not a light cruiser. Because you're not smoking up. You're a heavy. And there's the next heavy. So far we've inflicted a whole 16 points of damage. Stop the presses and call the papers, because we are doing some serious damage here. We have not yet been hit. But once those hits start landing on these ships, it's going to be really bad news, as the guys are going to start flooding very quickly. A few bulkheads is just asking for it. Now this looks like a DD. I like my torpedo boats in one piece. So I'm going to hold them back for a little bit and tell them to charge in when the time is right. And the time is right when some of these escort ships have been sunk. And that's going to be the job of the battle cruisers. Although their chances to actually do some damage against something inside of a smokescreen is not great. Target fast speed has a modifier of only 15.7%. So while these things might have a ton of funnels, they're not particularly quick. One of my battle cruisers has taken a scratch. 'Tis but a scratch. For now. Oh, lovely. That is some good damage right there. That's a 4-inch gun hitting a destroyer. And I think I might not be the only one who is running with a light or with few bulkheads. as this destroyer seems to have some serious issues trying to stay afloat. Now, let me start registering hits, kills, and ships. What were the points again? BBs worth 15 points. We have battle cruisers worth 10 points. We have heavy cruisers worth 6. Light cruisers worth 5. DDs are worth 1 point each. So this means that sinking this one ship is, well, helping me in the sense that it makes it easier potentially for the torpedo boats to charge in. But outside of that, for the point systems, it's not really going to be too valuable. Identification on the Japanese battleships is almost complete. DDs are starting to join formation-ish. Don't torpedo unless directed. I have to have at least one light cruiser survive. Now this guy is so far in the back that he might as well not join. So that I at least have one light cruiser surviving this fight. Damage at the moment is fairly even. 266 inflicted by the enemy, 356 inflicted by myself. And it looks like this destroyer is ripe for the taking, as it finds itself outside of a smokescreen. And that means that Narva and her casemates can now open up. I said enthusiastically, and then... Ah, there we go. And then she just utterly refused to fire. But the damage to the DD is getting quite severe. That might be a kill right there. Bingo! The battleship even pointed her 13-inch guns at the target, which I think is a bit of a waste. Now I have a 44% chance to pen the Kasuga, the battleship. 13-inch guns, 10 side, or, well, not so much side, but secondary? Primary? I'm not even sure, what do you want to call those? 4-inch, 3-inch, and 2-inch. So best not to charge in with the DDs or the PT boats just yet. Gotta wait for the escorts to die. And they are dying. Because we have sunk one destroyer so far. Hopefully this destroyer here is going to be next. One battlecruiser is flooding out a bit. They seem to have it under control, but with battlecruisers you never know. One moment they're flaunting about, and the next moment they're underwater. Now, my light cruiser, you are very enthusiastic in your approach, and I love enthusiasm in that sense, but I also prefer you above water level. Accuracy is just atrocious. 5 clicks out. We can barely hit the guy. Let's target the other one. ID on the DDs. Arashi, range 6.2, which does put the Narva in her range. I don't like that much. That makes the Narva pretty vulnerable. Many bulkheads on the Kasuga. And a fair amount of armor, although not as much as the Russians have. Now I'm thinking might be more effective to try and sink something else with the battleships. Such as the escorts. Ideally cruisers and stuff. So target that one. And work over the Arashi. Battle cruisers so far are surviving. Torpedo boats. Oh, nice. Good damage so far on the Takachiho. And that might clear out the way for the torpedo boats to come in. Keep focusing down that light cruiser. Narva is broadside to the Japanese. The Japanese have 40% chance to penetrate this ship. The angle that the Japanese are firing at, though, might not be that good. No, there's a low chance to ricochet. Alright, come on. Finish off the Arashi. And ideally, while the Yukikaze's in the way, try and hit her too. Where's my heavy cruiser? I want you to target the Arashi. Open up aggressively, even if you don't think you can hit it. Because those 5-inch guns are numerous. Just throw enough shells out there and maybe one hits the DD. And with the changes in Alpha 7.6, well, you can do a ton of damage. Kursk, what are you doing? Kursk is a bit optimistic. Another damaging hit here. Standard amount of bulkheads. I don't know if that's going to save them though. Because this light cruiser does not look happy. Flooding, 2 compartments. There seem to be at least 6 to 8 compartments on fire. Standard amount of bulkheads combined with anti-flood 1 might just keep her alive. But hopefully she'll be easy to hit by the battle cruisers. Uh-oh. I think we might have torpedoes coming in. Just turn to port maximum. What's my chance to pen the battle cruiser? 47. It's not great either. Arashi is still alive? I don't like that one bit. Oh, they're smoking up again. Come on. Don't be like that. Light cruiser might be going down soon. Chance to pen is 100. Chance to hit is about 5%. Oh crap, the DDs are doing very poorly. Just aggressively launch your torpedoes and we'll see how it goes after. This is your target. Though I don't really think that the DDs are particularly eager to launch. Because they think they might hit their friendlies. Now I did intend for these ships to be brawlers, but I also thought that the 6-inch guns would be more effective at taking down the destroyers, and they're not. There's at least 1 torpedo that's been spotted, heading for the Narva. Narva's making a hard turn to port, and with a 920 meter turning circle, I really hope that I turned in time. Otherwise, we are going to be in trouble. Chance to pen is now far better. Let's set the weapon selector to auto. And hope that the HE is going to be enough to kill the Ashi. While the main guns blow big holes in the battlecruiser, which has minimum bulkheads. I quite like that. I'm seeing torpedoes inbound against the Pamiat Mercuria. Don't like that. Oh crap, there's a heavy cruiser in the way. There goes one of my destroyers. Oh dear. Battlecruisers alive and kicking. Although not exactly hitting the target. Oh, this is another light cruiser. I thought that might be a heavy cruiser. My heavy cruiser. Have you done anything? Oh yeah, you have. I'm sorry. 560, sorry, 46 damage. There goes the Arashi. That's my second destroyer killed. Narva did hit the torpedo that was going for her. She's flooding. But this is why I have maximum bulkheads. To survive situations like that. Now we're going to take down this guy right here. The Ashi. There we go. That's 3 DDs dead. There might be hope yet. PT boats, so far, still undamaged. I have the range. Oh shit. Shouldn't have said that. We are firing a total of 2 torpedoes per torpedo boat. That is fairly lackluster. Do you guys have any kind of detection system? No, it hasn't been invented yet. Alright, that's fair. Torpedoes away. Borgo, torpedo away against the Hirado, if you can. Yep, 2 torpedoes out against the battleship Kasuga. Narva has recovered from her flooding, mostly. And seems to be doing pretty well. I don't really... What the fuck have you been up to? These have to be from the Windy. But why the fuck she launched her port side torpedoes? I cannot fathom. That makes no sense. She just sent all of her torpedoes to the port side. The ships are definitely and clearly to the starboard side. This is weird. This is really weird. It's unfortunate that my light cruisers don't really have any kind of torpedo armament. I'm hoping that the heavy cruiser can take down the DD. How are these torps looking? There goes one of my torpedo boats. These are the torps heading for the Kasuga. These are the ones heading for the Hirado. Borga, turn. Battle cruisers, you're getting a bit too far. Ooh, juicy. Good hit on Yukikaze. Might be enough to take her out. Probably courtesy of the Severnaya. Severnaya, however, is getting a lot of attention in return. The Japanese don't like her being here. I have to have one battle cruiser or one cruiser survive, right? You must achieve minimum 65 points while maintaining at least a battleship, a battle cruiser, and a light cruiser, right? So, sucks to be you, but you're not mission critical. Come on, sink the Yukikaze. Oh, good damage here against the battle cruiser. Was that one of your regards? No. Well, yes, it was. But there is so much going on that I'm having a hard time keeping up with the log. Kasuga did take torpedoes and get hit, and so did the Hirado. We sunk a light cruiser. 2 torpedoes from the Borga did appear to have worked. Now, let's see if we can take out the Yukikaze. While the Yukikaze is also going to get hit by the Izumrud and the Severnaya. Before she launches torpedoes, ideally. Flooding on the Severnaya. Battleships. Where are the battleships? Oh. Rodestvo is now the lead. Which means that the other one's trying to fall behind that ship in the formation. Now, if I want to achieve 65 points, I'm going to need quite a few kills. I am going to need to kill all their battleships. And, oh dear. That was not good. Yeah, Izumrud's toast. You can fall back. I'm going to need to kill all their battleships. That's 20 points. Sorry, 30 points. Battle cruisers, both, will award me a total of 15 points each. No, 10 points each. So that's 50 points if I sink all their big ships. But that might not be easy. Fortunately, my big hitters still seem to be functioning. Let's target heavy cruiser cannon. Looks like this destroyer is ripe for the sinking. Yeah, Jigit is gone. Yukikaze is still alive? How? Right. Let's maintain pressure on that battlecruiser. I want that one gone. Taking down these 2 battleships is going to be tricky. Because I cannot rely on torpedoes, so I'm going to have to rely on main guns. Torpedo spotted. Torpedo, torpedoes. Oh crap. Hard to port. Which might mean that you evade them. I don't see this one going well, guys. And the Narva is once again getting hit by a torpedo from the battlecruiser, no less. Hoping that the heavy hitters can do something against the... No, not really. Ooh. It's another DD dead. I like it. They started out with 5 destroyers. I think I didn't register all the kills because I'm not seeing any kind of destroyers anymore. Oh shit. There was one more torpedo that I had not seen. Fortunately, this is the guy with the many bulkheads. Let's see if it's going to be enough to save him. Come on, I really want to sink this guy. I'm showing an awful lot of broadside to those battleships. Battlecruisers, you're going to have to get more aggressive. Try and take out the light cruiser because the heavy does not seem to be a valuable target at the moment. Oh crap. The torpedoes that missed the Sevenaya moved on and hit the battleship behind her. The torpedo boat's still functional. Marginally. Very, very marginally. 6.2 kilometer range. Well, might as well try it. If that thing does so much as turn, we're not going to hit it. Actually, no, we're not going to hit it, because it just moved to 6-3. Alright, Borgo, back in. Battlecruisers are still working away. Seeing serious damage going on here. Oh crap, there is one more DD. Ikazuchi. We did sink a light cruiser. That helps with the points, but it's not enough. Missed again. What's my chance to hit? Not great. Not great. At least I'm getting closer to the battleships. The problem, however, is that at the current angle of the ship, I'm not able to bring that middle turret to bear. So I'm effectively fighting with only one turret, namely the bow one. Oh shit. Get this thing killed before it gets you killed. Turn bow in and fire everything we have at that destroyer. I know that this limits the amount of casemates that are able to fire, but at the same time I'm hoping that she'll not be able to torpedo me that well, because I'm presenting a small angle. She did launch her torpedo, 2 of them by the looks of it, and this means that I'm gonna have to, well, maybe the turn is enough. Yeah, I think so. Good hit! Really nice hit there. That should be the end of that last DD of theirs. Go on. Off you go. Fine. That is a total of 5 points, which is the maximum that I can get for the DDs. Next up, the Kasuga. I will eventually sink this Japanese battlecruiser, but I don't expect that to be happening anytime soon. I really hope I can bring these guns to bear. But the turret placement, I now realize, is atrocious. I really should have done that different. Because I am unable to bring most of those guns to bear. That is, without taking serious risks. How's the Borgo? Limping. 11 knots. Narva and Rodestvo are both in a pretty bad shape as far as maneuvers goes. And for the Rodestvo, it's going to get even worse because she's starting to flood. Oh crap! Torpedoes coming in from the Haruna. That's going to be it for the Rodestvo. Sorry, Rodestvo. I'm going to have to get the Narva disengaged. Maybe Rodestvo can still do a bunch of damage here. There's the torpedo. That's a pretty fast one, isn't it? Yeah, flooding on the bow. Come on, blow holes in that BB. Oh, sorry, that BC. This is the perfect angle for my ship, as I can now get most of the guns to bear. I just hope that I can get a couple of really damaging hits in. Because that could sink her very quickly. with a high amount of flooding. Here come the 13-inch. Some damage, but mostly to the rudder. It's not what I was hoping for. This is definitely turning into a brawl. And guess what? I didn't bring torpedoes. Oh dear. Destroyed the main tower. Fire control damaged. So all that armor did work somewhat at range. But once you get closer, you might find that it does not work that well. Let's put the secondaries on the Mogami. Trying to get her some damage as well. Oh, you're still fighting that one. Okay, target the Haruna. I don't particularly believe that the Rodestvo is going to survive this. Maybe if I get another salvo or two in on the Nishi, that's going to do something. But I'm very much expecting that she will torpedo me. And at this point there is very little that I can do about that. Still, the amount of damage that this ship has taken is impressive. It's no super battleship, but this Dreadnought can handle herself quite well. And I'm probably missing a lot of stuff, but I really want to see how this fight goes. Yeah, there comes the torpedo. Flooding on the Nishi. Flooding on the Rodestvo. Turn to starboard. Well, I still have a gun platform left. Wow, you're still here? What the shit? That's the wrong battleship. What happened to you? You're getting consistently hit by 5-inch guns? By a torpedo 2 minutes ago. As I said, I was definitely going to miss things. 2 torpedoes, in fact. And you're getting more or less impacted. No, actually, you're not getting targeted by the battleships. You're just flooded. Yep, the ship died out of flooding. Well, I got everything I deserved. I don't think that this particular scenario is going to do too well in redeeming the honor that we lost to the Japanese. Because this fight looks like it's pretty much decided. Maybe, however, I can get some points out of sinking a battlecruiser. 6% buoyancy. Come on. There's another fire. It's not what I need. The Haruna is flooding. Alright, Nishi's out of torpedoes, but is that enough? Maybe. These battle cruisers are not designed to go in for brawling, but at range they won't hit anything. So I'm not even sure what the best option is here. Holy shit, I'll have some of those pumps. I'm not sure what you're using, but that looks fantastic. Anti-torp 2, anti-flood 1. Ammo detonation. Now she is really fucked. There she goes. Alright, so that's finally one of the battlecruisers sunk. Next, we're going to target the Yasushima. Priority because she has torpedo tubes. There's still 2 heavy cruisers in pretty damn good condition. Overall, I've inflicted 13,000 damage, but they've inflicted 19,000 damage. So it looks like it's once again going to go to the Russians. Oh, sorry, to the Japanese. Flooding on the light cruiser. Standard amount of bulkheads. She'll survive. Unlike the Izhevsk, which is flooding and seemingly panicked by the flooding, which is why she's starting to turn around, trying to fall in behind the Kursk. We get a flash fire on the Yasushima. And another fire. Tracker bow turret's gone. And another flooding. Alright, buddy. Are you feeling lucky? Because I hope you are. We're going to go right through. Finally. There goes the other light cruiser. That is all of their light cruisers gone. So that's a total of 15 points. That's the maximum that I could get for killing off all the light cruisers. And now comes the fun part. Because now we're going to have to try and survive against overwhelming firepower from 2 battleships and a battlecruiser. Aided by 2 more ships in the form of 2 heavy cruisers. Oh, this is going to get rough. So far I've scored 30 points. Because I have been unable to do any kind of really serious damage against the battleships. Sure, they've taken a beating or bit, but overall they're perfectly fine. What I now want to try and do is ram the Izhevsk into either the Haruna or ideally the Musashi. Because that might get me some more points. The problem is, will she get there? Because this battlecruiser keeps inflicting more flooding damage. And that's problematic. No, you're hitting it. Did you just hit a friendly? Sure as hell looked like it. Destroyed a funnel. Okay. Haruna is flooding. You have minimum bulkheads as you're a battlecruiser. Maintain pressure. Unfortunately, the Izhevsk is a... Oh. Oh dear. Space Force turrets. There goes the ramming plan. The Izhevsk is a bit in the way between the Kursk and the Haruna, but that's no longer a real concern. Looks like the Kursk is still putting rounds into the Izhevsk at this point. Stop firing at your friendly. It's already dead. The problem is that the ship's in the way. She keeps maneuvering to that side, I keep maneuvering to this side, so the Izhevsk is serving as a bit of a blocking item. Oh, another flash fire. Well, it's not like those turrets... Oh, that one goes really high. It's not like those ever going to fire again. Jesus, what propellant were those having? White powder. Yikes. Now, interestingly, Kursk, up till this point, was actually fairly undamaged. It seemed like she really hadn't taken much. Oh, another flash fire. Yeah, sure. Just ditch all the turrets. Another one? Yep, another one. It's a party, and we're popping turrets all over the place. Now, the Kursk was doing fine. That whole plan's about to end. But it would be amusing, at least, if the AI would torpedo their own battleship, but I don't see that happening. So, with one exceptionally heavily damaged heavy cruiser alive, a torpedo boat that I think hasn't been torpedoing for a long time, and 2 damaged battle cruisers, the only actual survivor of this fight is the Lieutenant Dadimov, which is currently a whole 38 kilometers away from the battle. And I pulled it out because the scenario said that I have to keep at least one of these things alive. Well, about that. I'm calling this scenario a fail. I was utterly unable to, at least with the current way that I handled my ships and designed them, bring the firepower to bear. And because of that, these battleships survived. Not only that, but the battle cruiser also survived and the heavy cruisers are fine. So this means that a total score for me is 40 points out of the required 65, which means that the Russian fleet did not undo the shame that was inflicted on them. And the humiliation continues. For good measure, they also sank the torpedo boat. So, sad stories to be told by the Lieutenant Dadimov. Thank you, Commander Raptor, for sending in the scenario. I'm not so sure if I'm going to be eager to spot the next scenario, because if well, as he said, if you lose, well, there will be a possible follow-up, but you will be at a bit of a, if not massive, disadvantage, which is nice. So, hit me with the next one, Commander Raptor, and I'll see what I can pull back as far as the Russian honor is concerned. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed the video, then please subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. I'm still almost at 50,000 subscribers, and I really hope to get there soon. And I've noticed that about half of the people watching these vids are not subscribed. So if you aren't already, then please do so by hitting the subscribe button down below. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you guys soon for the next one.